Hey everybody, it's Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area recapping the 49ers 30-24 victory over the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night. Kind of a season saving. I don't know if we want to make it that dramatic. Let's just put it this way. It was a huge win for the 49ers, and it gives them a little something heading into the bye week where they know they're going in right there atop the NFC West with two other teams and then a fourth team, the LA Rams, hot on the trail of the 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. But first, this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery. It's a brewery, a beer garden, a restaurant, all wrapped up into one in Moraga, California, one of my go-to spots. And keep an eye out for this one. It's coming soon to the Livery in Danville. So it should be a great location, great spot, fun atmosphere, and everything you want. And I'm sure if you go, I will see you soon because I go, quite often. So anyway, Canyon Club Brewery in Moraga now and coming soon to Danville. So keep an eye out on that. Okay, so what do you make of the 49ers 30-24 victory over the Dallas Cowboys? In my mind, it kind of really epitomized what this team was about in the first half of the season. They did not get off to a good start, both offensively and defensively. Offensively, they just couldn't, they couldn't really sustain any drives. Defensively, they couldn't get off the field. They gave up conversions to the Cowboys on four of their first five third downs, and then and went into halftime trailing in this one 10-6. And then the third quarter was a complete flip. The defense was exceptionally good. They did generate one takeaway, an interception from Jair Brown in the first half of the game. And then Diamador Lenore gets an interception of Dak Prescott in the third quarter, and the 49ers are rolling 21-0. They outscored the Cowboys in that in the third quarter, and then things fall apart once again. And defensive mix-ups, leaving CeeDee Lamb all alone. Offensively, they kind of stalled out a few times after looking like they were just rolling. And so then it's basically a hold on for dear life kind of situation. I want to give huge props to Isaac Guerendo. He took some heat, I think, on social media for people, early in the season. Oh, he doesn't know how to hit the hole, and boy, he's a bad fit for the 49ers. But, they did trade up to get him in the fourth round because of his size, his speed, and what he's also shown is something very special because it's just kind of this selfless attitude. I questioned in the Thursday game against Seattle whether he should have gone down when he had an apparent touchdown. I wondered, did he get tripped up? Did he really go down on his own? He says he did, so I'll take him at his word. And then the game on Sunday night, boy, what a great move for him to slide at the 3-yard line late in the game and just basically end it right there. Cowboys didn't have any timeouts remaining. And so it was definitely the right move. And that's the one that, Kyle Shanahan said he wished he had scored the touchdown against Seattle. But this one, he was coached up to slide on that one. So big day for Isaac Guerendo, 14 carries, 85 yards, his first NFL touchdown. I find it quite shockingly that a young guy like him passed up two other touchdowns that he could have had potentially in order to put the team first. So big shout out to Isaac Guerendo. Speaking of the running back position, might as well just give you the injury report coming out of that game, the preliminary injury report. Deebo Samuel had a ribs injury. He didn't return after he left the game. Jordan Mason, shoulder injury, the same shoulder that had been bothering him, the AC joint. He did not return in the game. And Kyle Shanahan said that he felt like he could have, there was a possibility that Mason could have remained in the game or returned to the game, but there really wasn't any reason to. 49ers seem to have pretty good depth there at that running back position with potentially Christian McCaffrey coming back after the bye week. And I think there's a decent chance when the 49ers return a week from today on that Monday for a bonus practice as they start to prepare for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think there's a really good chance that the window is opened and Christian McCaffrey is designated for return. And potentially he could be on the field when the 49ers go to Tampa in that week. Was it the week 10 game? Renardo Green sustained an ankle injury. He did not return. And then D. Winters was diagnosed with a concussion. He did not return. So I don't know the extent of these. Kyle Shanahan said that after the game that he didn't have any indication that any of those were going to be like season, like uh, injuries that really last a period of time. So we shall see. Okay. It was a bounce back game for Brock Purdy. No question about it. Had his worst statistical game of his career against the Kansas City Chiefs 1 week earlier. In this game, it was more like Brock Purdy. Was it perfect? No. He missed some throws or miscommunication or whatever the case may be, but he did come out at halftime and play a lot better. Also had 66-yard touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel wiped out by Eric Saubert's holding penalty. But the final line on Brock Purdy, 18 of 26, 260 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, passer rating of 114.3. And there was no question whatsoever. He was the best quarterback on the field on Sunday night. Dak Prescott, by and large, struggled. He threw for 243 yards with two touchdowns, sure, both going to CD Lamb and also the two interceptions that I referenced. So 49ers generate the takeaways, and that really helps them win this game. Dak Prescott's passer rating was 79.2. Okay, it was National Tight Ends Day. And tight ends around the NFL absolutely thrived, and no one thrived more than George Kittle, the founding father of National Tight Ends Day. He showed up wearing quite an explosive, gaudy outfit. Don't even know how to describe it. Although I will say it looked comfortable. It might not have been comfortable for the retinas of anybody who was watching him, but George Kittle showed up and he was in fine form. Uh, Brock Purdy targeted him 7 times. He caught 6 passes for 128 yards and the touchdown. The touchdown was interesting because the 49ers did cash in on their red zone opportunities. It was a whatever you call it, a rub route, a pick route, whatever, where Chris Conley did an inside breaking move. Kittle, who was lined up inside of him, went outside, and basically Chris Conley took that cornerback with him, or the cornerback ran into him. Conley ran into the corner or the defensive back, and flags were flying from every which direction. And then after Bill Vinovich, the referee of this game, got together with his crew, they decided to pick up the penalty flags and call it a touchdown. And Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys coach, was none too pleased. So big day for George Kittle as he, like I said, he keeps rising up the list of 49ers all-time greats. And he's number 5 in receptions and is only, I think, 8 receptions away from passing both Dwight Clark and Roger Craig to become third on the all-time 49ers receptions list. He is already third on the 49ers all-time receiving yards list. So I don't know. It seemed to me like he kind of snuck up on me that he has now put himself in that position to rank up there with Jerry Rice, with Terrell Owens, and now the next name on that list, George Kittle. So watching him yards after the catch and the way he ran, just catching passes, I think at 31 years old, he's playing the best football of his career. And yeah, I know that his numbers will probably never get up to that point where he was in his second year when he went for like 1,500 yards. But George Kittle is playing outstanding football. The 49ers need him now more than ever. They need his uplifting nature. On the 49ers Talk podcast, I referred to him as aggressively positive. But more than anything, they need the production on the field. And he has produced. He must continue to produce because so much of the 49ers, the reason they signed Brandon Ayuk to that big money contract, they knew after the offseason he had that his numbers were probably going to fall. But the 49ers wanted to make sure that they're playing their best football at the end of the season in December, heading into January. And Brandon Ayuk was showing signs, hearing from John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They saw the signs that he was getting ready to return to that form. And then he sustains the ACL injury. So now the 49ers have to do some things offensively. They've already been without McCaffrey, although it, like I said, looks like his return is imminent. But offensively, who picks up the slack? And I think one of the guys is George Kittle, asking him to do more, putting the ball in his hands, creating mismatches where he's able to make those catches, the easy pitch and catches from Brock Purdy. And it's basically at all routes. I mean, certainly the intermediate route, but also the crossing pattern, the shallow cross where he's able to turn upfield and make some yards. The other guy the 49ers are turning to, and it showed up early in the game on Sunday, was Ricky Pearsall, is Ricky Pearsall. Um, Coming off his first game where he had 48 snaps in that game on Sunday night. He did a little bit of everything, catching passes, including a really tough pass where Brock Purdy put it on him. Like before he even made his outbreak, the ball was halfway there, and Pearsall went to the ground, made the catch for the third down reception. And he also, late in the game, showed a little wrinkle that I didn't, that I hadn't seen, which is the jet sweep out of the slot. He turned it upfield, really followed a block from George Kittle, was very patient in running that, and then turned it upfield for a 39-yard gain. So Ricky Pearsall in this game targeted 4 times, catches 4 passes for 38 yards, and played a lot in this game. And kind of interestingly, I suppose, Chris Conley, he had the most snaps of any of the 49ers wide receivers, 52 snaps in this game. That was 76% of the 49ers offensive plays. So Chris Conley, the veteran, really making his presence felt, or at least just getting a lot of action. Obviously, he's won the respect and the trust of the coaching staff. So he's out there playing a lot more offense than he has at any point since joining the 49ers. So he led the team with 52 snaps. Deebo Samuel coming off the pneumonia, 42 snaps, and an impressive game for Deebo, 4 catches, 76 yards, and 71 yards. And also mentioned that 66-yard touchdown, apparent touchdown that got called back from the holding penalty. So Ricky Pearsall, 40 snaps in this game. That's coming off a game where he had 48 snaps in his debut against the Kansas City Chiefs. So 40 snaps is 59% of the playing time. And then Ronnie Bell played 15 snaps, Jacob Cowing 12. Want to go back briefly to the running game. I mentioned Garindo with the 85 yards. Well, I don't think I mentioned Brock Purdy showing the legs. Like he's now becoming, that is becoming part of his game. And I just kind of think back to the offseason when we talked to Steve Young, and he said that he felt like was the next area for Brock Purdy to kind of pick up hidden yards or just kind of free yards out there because of how teams are playing defensively. Whenever you can use your legs to just run for a first down, or in the case of Purdy, I think there was there was one play, first down where he runs for 9 yards, so it sets up a second and short. But anyway, Brock Purdy, 8 carries, 56 yards, including a quarterback sneak, and 49ers as a whole. And this is a game that we talked about this leading up. 49ers had to be able to stop the run on defense against a very bad running team, the Dallas Cowboys. They did that. Good game from Fred Warner, probably Devondre Campbell's best game. And then also for the 49ers, run the football. Dallas's run defense wasn't very good. On the pregame video from Levi Stadium, I highlighted some of the guys they could attack in the interior of their defensive line. I think the 49ers did that. And as a team, And I guess this includes one kneel down, one carry for -1 yard for Purdy at the end of the game. But the 49ers total numbers 36 rushing attempts, 223 yards. This was a Cowboys team that came in averaging giving up 144 yards per game. It's a 49ers team that basically averaged gaining that many yards too. And so when that combination hit, 49ers 223 yards on the ground. I've been citing all these numbers, and don't you think the 49ers should have won by a lot more than 6 points? Like I said, man, they just had to hold on for dear life in this one. Defensively, we've been wondering how the 49ers find a pass rush other than Nick Bosa. Might it be Sam Okawanu? Bosa had one sack, three pressures. His one pressure led to that interception where Jair Brown, while the ball was in the air, traveled 22 yards according to Next Gen Stats. So one sack, three pressures from Bosa. Guess what? Sam Okawanu, one sack, three pressures from him, and he's kind of taken on that role, I think, a little bit of Yetur Gross-Matos, where they're expecting Gross-Matos to be a defensive end in base situations and slide inside to rush the passer and nickel downs. And now Okwanu had one of his sacks when he lined up right next to Bosa. So when Yetur Gross-Matos comes back, maybe when we're talking about trade deadline on November 5th, maybe the 49ers don't feel the urgency to make a deal. With Gross-Matos coming back, with Okawanu playing as well as he is, Shanahan said that Kevin Givens is not going on IR, so they expect him back. We'll see. I think the 49ers will certainly keep an open mind. Are they going to break the bank to go get somebody? I don't know. I don't know that they need a wide receiver. My idea would be if they're going to single out a position, it would probably be defensive line. They do need to get more out of Leonard Floyd. So that's something where the 49ers will be, maybe they feel like the pieces are already on the team and pieces coming back to the team can give them that boost to push them over the top. But right now, they are at the top kind of in the NFC West. And it's an interesting division because 49ers are 4-4. They're feeling really good about themselves. However, if you look at their schedule here, the first four games coming out of the bye week, it is tough sledding. A game at Tampa Bay, which, I guess the first two games, very winnable at Tampa Bay and then back home against Seattle. And then weeks 12 and 13 at Green Bay, at Buffalo. So if Furs can just kind of keep their head above water or even tread water during that stretch, they'll be right there in the mix in the NFC West. I think they have to run the table in the NFC West. They've already made it through the division once, losing to the Rams, losing to Arizona, beating Seattle. I think they need to win out in the West to win this division, go to the playoffs. Right now, as I mentioned, they are 4-4. Seattle is 4-4. They lost big to Buffalo by 3 touchdowns in Seattle on Sunday. And then Arizona, they beat Miami on a walk-off field goal. So they're 4-4. And then maybe the hottest team in the NFC West is the 3-4 Rams as they're getting some guys back. Cooper Kupp's back. Puka Nakua's back. Two guys the 49ers did not face when they played that team earlier in the season. The Rams, of course, coming off a 20-30 victory over the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night. So that's where we are. 49ers feel a lot better about themselves. I can tell you when they left the stadium late Sunday night, feeling a lot better, going 4-4 to start the year, but still a lot of work to be done, a lot of tightening up that needs to be done. And how about this? Special teams. They were the best special teams on the field. Jacob Cowing got some yards on a couple of punt returns. Mitch Wishnowski's punting net average was pretty good. Anders Carlson was 3 for 3 on 3 field goals that were, kind of tested him. Won a 50-yarder to open the game. And then it was the Dallas Cowboys who made the mistakes. Nothing critical. The game did not turn on special teams in this game, but they were the ones after their coach helped write the rule for the new kickoff rule. They were called for two illegal formations on the new dynamic kickoff. So anyway, that's where we are. 49ers improved to 4-4 with a 30-24 victory. Leave your comments, likes in the comment section. I want to hear what you have to say coming out of this game. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And probably later in the day on Monday, we'll provide you with another update after Kyle Shanahan speaks with the local media. So thanks for watching, and that's it for now.